Hi and welcome to Two Wheel Reviews. We're going to be doing something a little bit different here, and I'm actually going to be reviewing a bicycle two-stroke engine kit. A little two-stroke engine which mounts to a mountain bike, and we're just going to go through the unboxing. Now, I received this kit just the other day. I've actually gone through the contents, so it has been opened, but I'm basically just going to go through as it was packaged as I received it, just so you can see what you get. I'm not going to mention the company name I've got it from as yet, because there's been just a few little bits and bobs that I need to sort out, so I'm not making any sort of recommendations or giving anyone credit until I know how the service is going to go and how good the engine's going to be. But the claims are good, so fingers crossed. So in the box we have a set of detailed instructions, which are actually quite good, quite thorough on the how to install the thing. We have a basic set of instructions which gives you your basic instructions, your fuel ratios, and just general information on the running of the machine. Inside the box we have I think it's either a 44 or a 46 tooth large rear sprocket, various pieces of packing for it. It's quite a well packed kit. We have a toolkit. Inside of the toolkit we have a double-ended box spanner, one end for the spark plug, the other end for various engine fixing nuts and bolts. Poor quality, personally only use that in an emergency, but at least it's there. Fixing brackets for the exhaust, a clutch, a hub puller removal tool, which is a screw-in one, and you then screw in the outer portion to pull the hub off. It's quite handy, nice little additional extra. Some kind of fitting kit, not quite figured out what that one's for yet. A spare head gasket, spare exhaust gasket, 2 spare head studs, and an alternative mount, which you may need depending on your bicycle frame size. A spare spark plug, some fuel line, and the petcock which screws into the petrol tank, just like a motorbike one, although no reserve, it's just a straight on and off tap. And finally there's your sprocket mounting kit, which basically is 2 large thick rubber washer dampers and 2 metal brackets and bolts, which bolts it through the spoke, so it clamps against the spokes of your rear wheel opposite the actual pedal drive end. So that's those bits there along that bag. We then have the exhaust pipe, one clutch cable with a locking pin. What happens is you can pull this, press the locking pin, it will actually hold the clutch open so that you can pedal the bike as normal, and release the clutch to grab when you want to start the bike and run with the clutch. One CDI with wires, HT lead and HT cap. One plain left hand throttle grip. One right hand throttle grip, engine kill switch, and carburetor complete with air filter attached, and the throttle cable. Chain guard. A chain idler. This fits between your engine and your rear sprocket and allows you to adjust the tension on a little nylon pulley there. Gives you a little bit of adjustment, take up slack in the chain. Basically, because you can't adjust your wheel back and forth to adjust the tension like you could on a motorcycle, you're fairly restricted in your movement, so what you have to do is fit the chain as best you can and potentially have to grind some links off to make it fit if necessary, and then your minimal amount of adjustment can be taken up with the chain idler here, which has a slotted rear so you can actually take up the tension a wee bit. A petrol tank with mounting lugs, and this is where your petcock screws in at the bottom there, twist off cap, and it holds about 2 litres and just bolts onto the top of your bicycle frame. Bicycle chain. And the all important engine. Okay, so there's the left hand side of the engine. Little simple 2-stroke motor. The clutch actuating lever there, there's your wires for your CDI, and the exhaust clamp there, the inlet there for your carburetor, spark plug at the top. There's the right hand side of it. It's a Starfire motorised power 2-stroke engine. There we go, there's a website address on there. I've not actually had a look at that, but maybe have a look at that. And there's your mounts. That mounts to your front tube, your sort of sloping down angled tube, and this mounts to your rear one. One thing, a couple of little bits I've noticed. One thing I've noticed with this is these studs are not, well, hopefully just not screwed in firmly enough, because there's a little bit of play in 1 or 2 of these. The front ones are okay, they're a little bit sloppy, but that's the mount that you can change for the different sized one in case your frame's a different size. So I need to check that and just make sure that that's actually secure before I go ahead and fix it. The spark plug fitted and the exhaust gasket fitted, you get the spare ones in the kit there. Okay. And also, as I said, there were a couple of little things that just need addressing. The tanks are supposed to be coated inside to prevent against corrosion. This one actually has quite evident signs of corrosion inside of it. Now you certainly won't be able to see this on the camera, but especially over on the right hand side of the tank, which it looks like where the bolt's being welded for the mounting point, there's quite a patch of corrosion there. So obviously I'm currently waiting for the seller to get back to me with regards to rectifying this particular issue. And the other little niggling problem I had was the HT, the plug cap, was fitted to the engine when I received it, and what had happened is it had obviously been squashed a little bit during packing, and it had cracked the cap. Now they're easy to crack, they're very hard, brittle plastic, just like your typical NGK motorcycle plug cap, and they're very easy to crack. So it's just a case of moving the replacement plug cap at a couple of pounds or so, and also the HT lead, which presumably just from being fastened into the CDI unit, perhaps not very well, or just working its way loose, has actually this, I don't know if you know, but there's a little screw thread in the plug cap and in the CDI, and the HT lead just literally screws on there. A lot of motorbikes are the same, and a lot of car ones are the same for that matter, and it's just worked its way loose, so basically the lead is pulling off that, so it needs a new bit of HT lead as well. So nothing major, so just little niggly things that need to be addressed. Now, as I say, the company seems to have a good reputation, and good things are said, and they make a big song and dance about having good support and backup, so you know, fingers crossed those little niggly bits will be rectified, and hopefully at some point in the next few days I shall be able to get around to fitting this onto a